Yehovah Elohim Sabaoth, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me and cover me and stir me and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Ezekiel chapter 45. When you divide the land by lot for inheritance, you are to set aside an offering for Yehovah, a holy portion of the land. Its length is to be 25,000 cubits, that is 8 miles, and its width 10,000, 3 miles. This entire region is to be holy. Of this, there is to be reserved for the holy place an area 175 feet square, with 87.5 feet for open land around it. Alongside this region, you are to measure a length of 8 miles and a width of 3 miles. In it is to be the sanctuary, which will be especially holy. It is a holy portion of the land. It is for the Kohanim who serve in the sanctuary, who approach to minister to Yehovah. There will be a place for the house and a place set aside for the sanctuary. A portion 8 by 3 miles will be owned by the Levim who serve in the house. It will also have 20 gatekeepers' rooms. You are to give the city possession of an area alongside the offering of the holy portion, 1.5 by 8 miles. It will be for the whole house of Israel. The prince is to have the territory on both sides of the holy offering and the city holding. It will extend westward to the western border of the land and eastward to the eastern border, and the length from the far side of one of its 2 parts to the far side of the other will be the same as the length of one of the tribal portions. His possession in Israel will be limited to, and henceforth by princes will not wrong my people, but will give the land to the house of Israel according to their tribes. Yehovah Elohim says this: Prince of Israel, that should be enough for you. Get rid of violence and looting and do what is right and just, and stop evicting my people from their land, says Yehovah Elohim. You are to have honest balance scales, an honest ephah, a 1 bushel dry measure, and an office bat, a 5-gallon liquid measure. The ephah and the bat are to contain the same volume. The bat is to contain 1/10 of a homer, and the ephah is to contain 1/10 of a homer. The homer is to set the standard for measurement. Also, the shekel is to be 20 garas. Your menah will be the sum of 20 shekel piece, a 25 shekel piece, and a 15 shekel piece. This is the offering you are to make: 1/6 of a bushel from every 10 bushels of wheat. You are to give 1/6 of a bushel from every 10 bushels of barley. The law for olive oil is to be 1/2 gallon from every 50 gallons, which is the same as 10 bats or 1 homer, since 10 bats equals a homer. From the flock you are to take sheep from every 200 being pastured in Israel. All these are to be used for grain offerings, burnt offerings, and peace offerings, to make atonement for them, says Yehovah Elohim. All the people in the land are to present this offering to the prince in Israel. The prince's obligation will be to present the burnt offerings, grain offerings, and drink offerings at the feasts on Rosh Chodesh and on Shabbat, at all the designated times of the house of Israel. He is to prepare the sin offerings, grain offerings, burnt offerings, and peace offerings, to make atonement for the house of Israel. Yehovah Elohim says this: On the first day of the first month, you are to take a young bull without defect and purify the sanctuary. The Kohen will take some of the blood from the sin offering and put it on the door frames of the house, on the four corners of the altar's ledge, and on the supports of the gate of the inner courtyard. You are to also do this on the seventh day of the month for everyone who has sinned inadvertently or through ignorance. Thus you will make atonement for the house. On the 14th day of the first month, you are to have the Pesach, a feast 7 days long. Matzah will be eaten. On that day, the prince will provide for himself and for all the people of the land a young bull as a sin offering. On the 7 days of the feast, he is to provide a burnt offering for Yehovah, seven young bulls and 7 rams without defect daily for the 7 days, and a male goat daily as a sin offering. He is to provide as a grain offering a bushel of grain for a young bull and a bushel for a ram, and for each bushel of a grain, a gallon of olive oil. On the 15th day of the 7th month, during the feast of Sukkot, he is to do the same thing for those 7 days in regard to the sin offering, burnt offerings, grain offerings, and olive oil. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this fascinating 45th chapter of Ezekiel? We can know in the near future there will be land divided by lot for inheritance, and there will be a holy portion set aside as an offering for Yehovah. Trust that Yehovah loves numbers and portions. Aim to serve in his sanctuary. Aim to be with those who approach to minister to Yehovah. Know that a prince is mentioned who will be with us in this house of Israel. Know that Yehovah says to get rid of violence and looting and to do what is right and just and to stop evicting his people from their land. Aim to be honest in your business and in life in general. Know that Yehovah shares with us how to measure and be fair in our business. Trust that we are told how to make an offering, grain, burnt, peace, and how to make atonement for them. Know that we will make an offering to this prince. Know that this prince has an obligation to present these offerings at the feasts on Rosh Chodesh and on Shabbat at all the designated times of the house of Israel. And he is to prepare the sin offerings, grain, burnt, peace, to make atonement for the house of Israel. Know that there are specific directions with blood, what must be done, when it needs to be done, where it needs to be done, for atonement for the house. Know that Pesach will still be practiced and it will be with the prince. Know that Sukkot as well will still be observed. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can point all to the blood atonement for removal of sins. Bear one another's burdens, do what is right and just. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.